Well, hello everyone. Good evening. It is early evening here in beautiful, partially sunny, partially rainy, partially cloudy Portland, Oregon. And I have had quite a day. I don't know how it went by so fast, but it did. And Mondays are always rough at work, I suppose. So there's just so much to do, and I can't do it all. But I did get some good things done at least, and some important things caught up within a good time frame. But yes, it will be interesting to see how much energy I can muster for tomorrow. I have some announcements, I suppose, on the channel. I know that earlier on, I think in December at some time, I had made announcement that I would be, I think, doing live readings on the channel, meaning I would be reading from specifically, I think I'd planned to read from Marx's Capital. But I have been mulling this over, and now that it's February, I just want to be clear, I'm not going to do that. It was a nice idea that I had, but logistically and energetically, it does not feel right. And I don't have the energy for it. I may choose to read other things, but it's just not something that I really want to get into again. You know, I've been kind of searching myself about it and thinking realistically, like, do I really want to be going through this and hashing this out again? Like, I don't. Because even though I do think people should be educated about these things, it's like, am I the person to do it? Am I the best person to do it? I'm not. So if you were looking forward to that, I apologize, but it will not be happening. I do have some other plans. I have said I do have another series kind of in the works right now. And by in the works, I mean I'm brainstorming about it and how I'm going about it. So that will be coming out, you know, in the near future, doing kind of a more thematic series of live streams. We'll be keeping the live format and seeing where that goes. Thinking, I felt like I had another announcement and now I'm not so sure. Okay, so not doing the reading study kind of group, I guess. I don't know if it was really a study group because, I mean, a study group, we have to sign up to do it, honestly. And I think some people were interested in it, but I don't know. If you're watching, I don't have anyone, I think, watching me right now live, which is always awkward. I don't want to say always awkward, but I'm wondering, like, should I be waiting? I do not know. But anyway, I do want to go off about some other things. My phone was just going off. Let me check that. Have it over here. Oh, it's going off again. Goodness, what can it be? Looks like somebody might be messaging me. I'm not sure. Oof, let's see. Okay, nothing too serious, nothing important. Anyway, I don't want to say not important. It is my friend, but it's the message is not urgent. So, yeah, no capital study reading group. We're not doing that. if you want to do that, do it on your own or find somebody else who wants to do it. But for me, it's just going to be too much energetically speaking. And I feel like just in my heart of hearts, it feels heavy. And I have this lack of desire to make heavy content like that anymore. It's just a lot to get into, and I just don't have it in me. We have to acknowledge our own weaknesses, you know. And I also thought, what is the purpose of it too? Because honestly, I don't really identify with that stuff anymore, however you want to label it. I'm not into those politics. So it seems to me like I would just be rehashing something that is not going to resonate and is going to make me feel kind of, I don't know, stressed out. When I think sometimes about my like political past and, you know, the things I was involved in and the weight of it, it's heavy to me. You know, I carried the weight of the world on my shoulders for so long, and the burden of all of that, carrying those kind of politics, is just, it's too heavy for my shoulders now. It really is. It's too much. It feels like a burden, not something that is light. And I have to consider that, you know, I've talked about it before on this channel, but I've had those moments where I, you know, had made content in the past, you know, did my videos talking about different topics, political topics specifically. And I remember this feeling of heaviness and like pain that it brought me. And I just don't want to go through that again, honestly, about anything. It's not that I don't want to deal with difficult things at times, but I feel like there's a pain that comes about in the body for me when I am not, or when I'm too invested in things that I need to not be invested in, you know? I think that makes sense to everyone. So there's an announcement there. Other personal announcements. I have had additional results from intermittent fasting, which I have been engaging in over a year at this point. When did I start intermittent fasting? I couldn't really say at this point. I'd have to go look back through my records and actually say, but it's been well over a year. Definitely. It's been like at least a year and a half. But I found out I'm down another size. And I'm feeling pretty good about that, honestly. I'm feeling really, you know, heartened by it. I'm feeling motivated by it, which is interesting because I've, you know, not really changed anything. And I felt like I kind of plateaued for a while. But I wasn't concerned about it because I was in a weight range that I was happy with. Well, I don't really know what I weigh right now, and weighing myself is a little bit difficult. But, you know, I'm speaking more about like measurements and, you know, fitting into things. And I recently bought a few articles of clothing, you know, and found that they're too big. You know, once they were received, I was like, okay, these are too big. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm feeling heartened about that, and like, you know, choosing this path to start to eat differently, to incorporate fasting as a practice in my life, even though, you know, it wasn't difficult at all. I don't know. But, you know, it's keeping me motivated to keep it up, you know, because it has created really good results in my personal life, in my body. And I know it's going to continue to if I stay on that path. So I was just very heartened by that. That was like really awesome to find, you know. I haven't done my measurements again recently. I did them a couple of months back, and I was really happy about that progress because, you know, I was in the weight gain I had in like 2021, I put myself back in a obese category. So, you know, to get my measurements down, I'd finally gotten to a point where I was like just slightly overweight. And now I feel like I'm starting to enter almost a normal. I mean, I was in a normal weight range before, but normal is kind of subjective right now because a lot of people, I think, in our culture, we're just getting used to people being bigger. So, you know, I was like an extra large, and it was exciting, you know, to be fitting into that. But now I'm down to a large, and large is big still, but it's quite a significant achievement to me personally because, you know, where I was coming from, and now I've gotten myself back into a very normal body range. And just it opens up so much, you know, in your life when you're able to get this under control. And yeah, I'm very heartened and motivated. Thank you for your congratulations and your concern with my feeling. I mean, I'm feeling well lately. You know, I have my physical challenges. I definitely need some help around the house. I don't know. I need to do something about it. I'm having just trouble with like keeping up with housework just physically. You know, and I think this is just part of the fact that I was always meant to be, you know, someone who never dealt with these kind of things. I just put it to myself that way. It's like, okay, you were always meant to be privileged, and you know, now you're stepping into your status finally. But it's not. I still also have this desire to want to, you know, be self-sufficient and do things myself. But you can't really do it all. I've kind of learned that in the past few years. I think dealing with the mobility struggles that I've had and learning to accept the limitations of my body. You just have to, you know, make peace with the fact that you can't do everything because you can't. And I find that like because of that, making peace with that, you kind of are better able to figure out what you can do and figure out a way around it. But modern life is just, there's so much. But then at the same time, you know, I complain about modern life, but you know, what we deal with in our modern era is nothing compared to like what our ancestors had to do. Like imagine going down to the river and having to beat your clothing against the rocks to like, you know, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, you know, compared to that. So anyway, I've got big announcements. Okay, so talked about not doing the study or reading plan that I had. Weight loss, very good, very awesome. Anything else personally that I wanted to go over or talk about? I'm wondering. Gosh, I don't think so. Yeah, that's right, S.A. Brady. I am, you know, I am a bit that way, you know, and you just have to embrace it, you know. For a long time I thought, oh, you know, that's wrong. It's wrong to be that way. It's, you know, you want to limit that. Women that are like that are bad, you know, women that have standards and, you know, want the best are wrong. And I think our culture kind of puts that on us a lot of the time too. Like if you have high standards, if you want the best, if you like, you know, don't want to thoroughly exhaust yourself, on things that aren't very rewarding, there's this kind of stigma about it almost, women are so demanding and so difficult, and it's just basically people want to they can't meet your standards, so they want you to have lower standards. That's kind of what I've learned over time. It's like, no, there's nothing wrong with what I want or desire or what I expect, and also there's nothing wrong with my desire to not do certain things, and to have a hierarchy of things I want to do. And it's okay if like I have to delegate in my life and come up with strategies to take care of things, or if I can't work full time and like be committed to my creative projects and like actually do them well, and keep up with all the housework and all of my social obligations as well, and all of these things are important, but you have to kind of like pick a hierarchy. There's a hierarchy, and it's like, I do want to have more time for it, but I think it's like, it's still something I need help with. So looking into that, seeing how that's going to work. But I don't know if that's really relevant to the channel. I mean, hopefully if these things get worked out, I kind of do want to just switch up my recording area here a bit. I wanted to move my desk here, have it kind of facing a different angle so that I'd actually be on that side of it, and have the desk kind of more separate, more open too, so that I can use it a little bit easier with like recording these videos, because I do want to implement some of the features I have available here that I've started since I've started using StreamYard for my streams. Like, one of the benefits is that I can share things and talk about them and like record in that way. So, but it is difficult because I have my laptop kind of up high here, so need to move things around. Anyway, thank you for listening to me go on about this stuff. I wanted to give back today, with this recording. I wanted to kind of talk to you all about just some other YouTube video or YouTube channels that I've been liking, or that I recommend. So if you're interested in looking for new content, this might be a video for you. Split Seconds, hi, welcome to the chat, welcome to the show. So yeah, let's get into it. I don't have anything pulled up, so it'll be, me here on my computer like a boomer, slowly doing things. Okay, so let's see. Hey, Lord Bibby, you came just in time for the content to get good. All right, so let's see here. I am going to share this. So this is the first channel I wanted to talk about and recommend here. This guy is amazing. His name is, or his username is Graphically Alex. He is this channel, I think he has another channel, but he is currently on a weight loss journey, and he really has so much insight about so many different things related to weight gain, weight loss, like the fat acceptance movement. He's really good at kind of debunking their stuff. And he's also like very thorough in his videos. He records like very interesting videos and he fleshes out his ideas very thoroughly. I like that in a content creator. And, I'm a similar kind of content creator. I do go on. But I think, he is someone who really does have a lot of insight in the observations he makes. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. What do you mean by this? All guys so far tonight, action-y title. I didn't know what to title this. Okay, Lord Bibby. Oh, I think he's a little bit behind. Right on, though. Right on. I know, actually, he was talking about in one of the chats I caught today, Lord Bibby was talking about how he used to go running, which I admire that. I think maybe in middle school, I tried to go running a couple times. Running was not fun for me, but I was kind of already fat by then. That was kind of the turning point in my life. So running just was awful, I think honestly, you shouldn't have fat kids running. That's not productive. It just makes them hate exercise. They have to be, dealt with differently. Honestly, I think there should maybe be different health programs for kids who are fat, just because of the strain of running. It's not good on your joints. It can do a lot of damage if you're overweight or obese. So, but anyway, back to talking about Alex here. Yeah, he's done some really interesting stuff. I watched one this morning, the bizarre corporate messaging behind body positivity and Ozempic. And that was really interesting because they've been pushing Ozempic so much lately that I just, I don't know, even in these articles where they seem to be critical about it, they're not. So I don't know. I found him really insightful and funny. So anyway, I won't go on about it, but definitely would recommend him. He does have a lot of insight. He talks about hypothyroidism and how it impacts hunger, the way obesity kind of propagates itself. He's just very attuned, and he's had a pretty significant weight loss so far. He's still kind of fat still, but he's very committed to it and keeping up with his good habits. So yeah, he needs encouragement, and he's got a very good channel here. I really recommend. So let me pull up the next one I want to talk about. Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting how the body works, for sure. I mean, or doesn't in my case, but it does. It does work to a certain degree. Oh, I didn't even announce about the awesome soup I made for lunch, y'all. I made an awesome soup. I don't always sit down and actually construct a meal, and I love to do it. I love to cook, honestly. But it's just, again, with my schedule, being a modern woman. Somebody asked me yesterday if I was a career woman, y'all. I laughed and cried at the same time. I'm like, I have a career. I am not a career woman. Okay, please. Please. So I made this amazing chicken noodle soup. Just with stuff I had in the house. I'd been planning to anyway. I had chicken and chicken stock, the egg noodles, vegetables and whatnot. I forgot to put some green onions in it though, but there's another serving that I have, so I will probably have that tomorrow whenever I break my fast. But yeah, so good. I love being able to make nourishing food for myself. But yeah, I put kale in it, and like once I dish it up, I put like some goat cheese and some like fire roasted salsa in it. Amazing, incredible, perfection. Because like I don't know, I just have to make do. Like I like certain flavors with my soups. I like them to be a little bit spicy, but I didn't think to purchase any peppers, because back when I used to make soup, I used to like get a serrano pepper and I'd add that to like my soup to give it that kick. But I didn't have anything like that, so I thought salsa, right? And it worked. And because like a little, blob of goat cheese in there makes the soup creamy and like, saltier, and then the spicy. It was just, I did good. I was eating like very happy. I'm like, this is nourishing. Anyway, yeah, I love to cook, but I just don't get the time to, because it's exhausting, having to clean it all up too. Yeah, it was good. Yes, I know, salsa on eggs. I don't cook eggs very much. Like I used to be in the habit of cooking eggs before work, but now I kind of fast till midday, and then break it usually around lunchtime. Before I would be, with my intermittent fasting, generally it was like I had a hard rule for like at least a year, 7 to 4 is my eating window, right? But I've gotten a little bit more relaxed about that, and I just take it day to day, like maybe one day I'll have a longer fast, I'm not so stressed out now about eating after 4. Like I know that if I eat after 4, it's fine, because, I'll just have a longer fast in the morning the next day usually. And oftentimes I like to be fasting in the morning just because, yeah, you do have a lot more focus and clarity. But yeah, career woman. Are you a career woman, Terri? I'm like, yes, no. What do you mean? What do you mean by that? What are you implying? Like, what are you implying when you call me a career woman? Like, because it's not like it at the end. It should be a neutral thing. Like, yeah, a lot of women have careers. It's we're in the modern era, people, and women have always had careers as well. Like, I don't know what to do with people. Like, I don't know. Like I would give it up in a heartbeat for a different kind of life if I didn't have to do all this. Like, yeah, I wouldn't, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to have a job that, provides for my life and my needs and many of my wants, so gotta keep, in perspective. But anyway, how do we get, I don't know, people always ask that, but like the hunger only lasts a couple days. You just kind of have to, white knuckle it the first day or two. And like, once you're kind of in it, the routine, and you just have your mindset, your hunger will die. Your hunger will die. I want to like stress though, I have a very sedentary lifestyle. Okay. Like I work from home at a desk, I can't really, I don't physically have the ability to ambulate the way other people do. So like physically speaking, I just don't need to eat as much as like the average person, but I do think that these kind of habits can be beneficial to the average person. if you want to like keep your weight down, and also just for other reasons. I mean, we're coming upon Lent as well, and I usually give things up at Lent. I haven't even really thought about it this year though. Like, what am I gonna do for Lent? Like, how am I gonna deny myself? I haven't really confirmed that yet. It's something I need to think about. I was thinking about maybe doing a more extreme fast, but I also, and by extreme, I mean like something like, sun up to sundown, not like not eating or something like that, but maybe only eating like after the sun goes down. Kind of, how different religious communities do it, or maybe, I don't want to restrict things like meat though, like red meat. I know a lot of time people will restrict that, but I just don't eat enough meat as it is to justify that. And if I'm already fasting, I do need to make sure that I have a good amount of meat in what I'm eating. So anyway, a lot of technicality, I just try to make sure, I'm getting all my macronutrients. I make sure I'm having my carbs, my protein, my fat, my dairy, all that stuff. And of course, a little bit of treat here and there, and to keep me sweet. Yeah, if you have a physical job, then I think, I mean, I snack though too, like through the day during my eating window. So it depends. It's something you kind of really have to figure out for yourself. And honestly, the first time I tried intermittent fasting, I didn't do very well. But like, I think, I gave myself time to really think about it, think about the rhythm of my life and schedule and what would work for me in terms of an eating window. Because a lot of the times, you can just really think about it technically, because you have to include the 8 hours, quote unquote, 8 hours that you're sleeping in the fast. So automatically that's a big chunk of the fast gone. So what I did was think, okay, this is simple. When am I sleeping? All right. Now, what time can I shave off, before and after then, that I'm not going to eat? So that's kind of how I did it, because I, at the time I was, sleeping 9 to 5 a.m., 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. I mean, I didn't sleep the whole time, but that was bedtime. So that was a guaranteed fast right there, those hours. So I thought, well, why don't I put another 4 hours before then and 4 hours after then? That didn't really work. So, because I thought, I might want to have breakfast, earlier than that, before work sometimes. So that's where I kind of came up with 7 to 4, like 16-hour fast and then 8-hour eating window. And so that's mathematically how I figured it out. I thought, what is the simplest way I can do this for myself, for my schedule? And then it made sense. It was easy to do. And, I break it from time to time. Like if I have a dinner to go to, I'm going to eat dinner. Like if I'm going out to a nice restaurant, I'm going to get some nice food. I'm not going to let the fast stop me from enjoying, the social aspect of eating. But, the trick is just to, make it kind of longer the next day, or just go back into your routine the next day and keep with that depending on what your needs are. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad that made sense. Yeah. Cause it's not that bad. Like, I think it becomes bad if you try to do it, if you try to overcomplicate it or make it too long. But if you just start with like the 16-hour fast to 18-hour, some people only do 12, but I like 16 as a rule. And sometimes I go over that. I think that's pretty doable. It's, it's not easy, but it's doable. So anyway, yeah, thanks for asking questions about it. It's good to explain that. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about Alex. So what is the next channel I wanted to share? Pull it up here. I think, you know what, why don't we do Ricky here, actually? So I'm going through my... Okay, so many of you that, you know, may be watching on catch up will be familiar with this channel. This is my old friend, Alex. Also, I mean, his wife, Marissa, is featured in the channel as well. But Alex, you know, was around way in the olden days of YouTube when, you know, I was a young whippersnapper, and Alex and Marissa both befriended me. You know, I won one of their drawings and they sent me one of the films they made, which was like kind of spoofing Anthony Fantano at the time and, you know, accusing him of like ripping off their style, which he did a little bit. But anyway, yeah, he's been doing these really interesting live streams. He says watch them every Sunday and Wednesday. It has not been that common, but he has been going occasionally. So I would recommend checking him out. He is a big film nerd. He had me on actually one of the past year. When did he have me on? I think it was in summertime. We did a video together talking about, yeah, this one here 8 months ago. Is it really 8 months ago? We'll pause this and just, you know, put our smiling faces up here, but come on. Anyway, I don't know that it's going to load, but as you see, we did a video talking about the new Avatar film and then contrasting it with another film about blue aliens, which was Fantastic Planet. So there we are. And I'm wearing my Union made vintage adorable little navy dress that I'm so fond of. But that dress only comes out in the summer because it's short sleeves, you know, and I have a rule about that. But yeah, he's just entertaining, and he sometimes has other people on, but definitely a channel worth checking out. Oh, I look good there. I got pigtails. Anyway, so that was another channel I wanted to recommend. And there's more to, let's see. Okay, here we go. Oops. Oh, hey, Seth. Yeah. Well, it'll probably be posted unless I say something damning that I don't want the masses to hear, like I have in the past 2 recordings. Man, y'all need to not have me telling on myself. There's certain personal information that people don't need to know about me, my history, things I may have or may not have done. Like, don't have me up here confessing, okay? That is not... You know, I'll be like, sometimes I'll have a live and I'll be like, ooh, I should not have shared. Like, I was fine sharing it with the people in the chat, you know, because, you know, it's a friendly chat, but sometimes I don't want everyone out there to know something, you know. I'm like, do I really want? So anyway, sometimes when the videos disappear, they or go private, that's what's going on, y'all. I try to be modest, as you know, modesty as a woman isn't, you know, about your appearance as much as it is about your demeanor. And sometimes we can sometimes share too much, you know, and it's it can be okay in a certain context, but I don't want everybody to know my business or like know like what a baddie I've been in the past or something like that, because I haven't really been that bad, but people can get the wrong idea. So okay, this next channel, I'm remiss for not actually recommending her before. Okay. And I just want to acknowledge this, that Lord Vivi is not going to say a word. That is so nice. Thank you. Okay, so this channel, Mimi Von Snatch, this lady is incredible. So Maria, I work with her. She has other channels too, but I just wanted to recommend one of her channels. She has this woman I'm working with as a mentor, Maria. She is so smart, so helpful, like really. And I'm not the only woman she's working with. She has like a group of us. She runs, a book club every week. She does a lot of work for us, themed meetings and that kind of thing. And her, her philosophy is all very good and very helpful. But her channel just will have you looking good. If you're ladies out here, seriously, like don't sleep on this channel. Mimi Von Snatch is the title, which is also hilarious. Mimi Von Snatch 2207. Just look at some of her videos, right? So just based on advice I've taken from her, very minimal advice, I have to say it's had an incredible impact on my appearance. She actually is the one that got me intermittent fasting. So this woman has me out here being thin, with long hair, beautiful skin. You know what I mean? Like she's the real deal, and she does skincare consultations, and like she's worked with so many different women about so many different like issues. She has great recommendations on things like supplements to take, skincare, weight loss, acne, skin lightening as well. And I just have to say like that as well, because it is so controversial. That's another thing I really appreciate about her is that, skin lightening for, many different people do it, but as a Black woman up here, the fact that she owns her skin lightening is, I think, awesome. And she's got great advice. And just for me as well, like that kind of stuff, all women can benefit from skin lightening practices, not just in terms of lightening your shade. I think if you want to have like really glowing skin, taking the kind of supplements that she talks about, using some of the products, it helps with evening out your skin tone and kind of giving you a brighter look overall. And besides, so many people use lightening products but don't really think about it. They have the term brightening on them. If you use any vitamin C serums, that kind of thing, you're lightening your skin, okay? You're just not really having it marketed to you that way. So anyway, I think she's great. Wigs, clothing. I love this video she did about MSM, making your boobs get bigger, because it's a real thing. So I started taking this supplement on her recommendation, and the growth was real. It's not that they got like a bigger size, but they got a lot fuller, and they were looking better. I was like looking in the mirror one day, just kind of like, naked, like you do sometimes as a woman. And yeah, I was just like, I'm like, the girls are looking good. They're looking like they look like they did when I was in my early 20s, maybe even better. They're like fuller, bouncier, you know, I don't know what else to say. Like, it works. So MSM, y'all. And for the guys out there, start buying MSM for your girlfriends. You know, get it for your wife, for Valentine's Day. You know, get her some MSM because it's gonna have her skin looking good, her hair looking long and thick and full, and it's gonna have, you know, the girls are going to be benefiting. It's also really good for your joints and that kind of thing. And I have joint issues. Like, at this point, you know, nothing's going to like undo, you know, what has been done. But to know that, you know, I'm taking a product that's good, you know, for that is good. So yeah, this woman, if you're into any of this stuff, or you just, you know, want to know, like, definitely recommend her channel. There are so many channels. It's like, I don't even know where to begin. Okay, here we go. So sharing the next channel. I'm telling no lies. I'm telling no lies. Okay, it works. MSM is the truth. Intermittent fasting plus MSM will have you looking good, you know? The girls will be looking good. And like, this is a real phenomenon. It happened to her. If you look it up, like in forums and that kind of thing, a lot of women are talking about this. They're like, the girls are bigger than they were before. So I don't know. They didn't really like go up in cup size. Maybe that has happened to others, but I just noticed they were fuller, you know, than they had been. They were looking a lot more plump, let's just say, which as we age as women, they can get a little witchy, you know, I'll just say that. So, you know, they can get a little bit. So definitely something worth investing in. So, okay, this next channel, I just love this channel. This channel has so much heart. I don't know what to say like about it otherwise, but this is a really sweet mother and daughter project channel. Okay, I forget what the daughter's name is. But let's go. So yeah, it's called Palettes, Pouts, Perfumes, and Panning. And this is an Irish mother and daughter who run this channel, and they just talk about, like, you know, makeup and fashion, and they do a lot of these I don't know, back in the day on YouTube, there were these really cool practice that we had of like tag videos. That's what I called them, or what we called them back in the day. But they work in like conjunction sometimes doing these like tag videos. I just think it's sweet, like different videos. It's Phoebe, that's her name, Phoebe and Tracy. So Tracy is the mom, Phoebe is the daughter. I also find it interesting just to know, like, in terms of like shopping haul videos and that kind of thing, I do like to see them in like other countries. Like, when I travel, I want to shop. Like, that's one of the number one things I want to do. Like, when I go to another country, I'm interested in shopping. I can't help it. It's who I am, you know, but just to see like ordinary content from ordinary people where they go to like these, you know, stores that we don't have here. Like, for example, Primark here, and I get to see, like, you know, what kind of clothing they have, like what kind of products they have. It's just, I find that kind of thing interesting because I would like to visit Ireland, at least Dublin at some point, you know. I probably won't get around the whole country, but just to, you know, go there, I think would be fun. And if, you know, I'm there, I definitely am going to want to be like getting some clothes, getting some different things. So I find their channel sweet, and I do Yeah, me too. Okay, I would definitely attempt to hit up stuff like that. I do like to thrifting is big. Whenever I go to another city or town, I always like try to hit up a vintage stores, antiques drops, thrift stores, because you know you're gonna find stuff that's interesting. You just are. So definitely. But I just, yeah, I like their channel. I find it sweet. I like the way they kind of theme their videos, and the fact that it's a mother and daughter together. I don't know. It's sweet to me. So definitely would recommend them. Let's see here. Okay, next recommendation I will make here. This is for people into conspiracies. This channel is interesting. So, a conspiracy that I kind of came across in the past year that I got a little fascinated about is this Tartaria thing. And this channel, Lucius Aurelian, this guy does these very in-depth videos where he kind of goes over the yeah, he just goes over a lot of the different facets of this particular conspiracy. I don't even know how to, it's such a broad conspiracy, and it just relates to a belief that, you know, our current understanding of history is flawed, and that actually previous civilization was far more technologically advanced than this current one. So I definitely think that that's an interesting supposition. And I definitely, as somebody who admires old architecture myself, and actually values it very much, because you know we are in my city alone in the past like 10 years, there's been a number of very beautiful like old buildings that, you know, were built out of stone that have been destroyed. So to me, that's kind of how I got into this. I was looking at, or I had an image come up on I think Facebook, and it was the Flatiron Building in New York City, and somebody had tagged it Tartaria, and I didn't know what that meant, so I like clicked on it, and then a whole new world opened up to me. But yeah, they have a lot of really interesting theories and suppositions about, you know, the old world, and that there's been this cover up about, you know, the greatness of our ancient civilizations. So yeah, population explosion, old world sites, trolleys, yeah, greatest old world castles, lost buildings. They also have this thing, they believe in the reset, that there was a reset, and that can get kind of interesting because they have like, I don't know, again, it's a very broad theory, but I do appreciate the kind of like investigation and conspiracy angle around ancient or just historical record and artifact. And then, of course, these ancient buildings, because you do look at these things, in my mind, at least, I look at them and I feel like we are not as advanced. And when you like really think about it, even my church, for example, the church I go to, it's a stone building. And when I was talking with what the guy who is like the historian for the church, he had mentioned to me that the technology that built the church is no longer available. Like, we don't have it anymore. We couldn't recreate this kind of building. And I'm like, it's not even that old. It was like built in the 1870s, 1860s. So it's not even that old. Like, really, when it comes down to it. But they don't have the technology to build it again. And that's what got me kind of thinking. I'm like, well, the Tartar people. This is another thing. They believe that there was this great nation of Tartaria, and so like the Tartar people were part of that region, obviously, but they believe that this nation was wiped from the map because it was like this advanced civilization that had existed all around the world, basically, or had like influence all around the world. They have these. There's some pretty interesting stuff, like, and they also believe. Oh man, I don't even know how to get into it, like where to begin, because it's one of those things that's so, again, broad. Like, you could go down so many different rabbit holes with this like conspiracy theory, as it were. I don't know where to begin. I think I'm going to stop sharing, though. New channels for y'all to check out, but I wanted to give a shout out to those particular people. Oh, I was going to shout out. No, I'm not completely done. I do want to go over like JLP and Bond, actually, but we'll give that a moment. Yeah, the Tartarians. So they believe like this ancient, or not ancient, but it was like an ancient civilization that was very powerful and very prestigious, and like they believe that it was destroyed in some way, and in not very far history, and there's been a cover up of it. And so, but that's not the only thing. There's like orphan trains. There were like these orphan trains, and like big rise in orphanages in Western Europe and America as well during a certain period of history. It's like, okay, well, where did all these kids come from? And they don't really have any information about that. And then there's other things like they'll even analyze like certain, I don't know, like rock formations or mountains or buttes or things like that. And some very interesting kind of insights they have about these things. It's kind of giving me like a pause to kind of look at the world with new eyes, because again, truth is stranger than reality a lot of the time. And I sometimes think, we trust too much. And at the same time, like we can doubt too much as well. Yeah, it is kind of like that. I mean, yeah, but again, it was like our ancient history, and so I do have these like beliefs about certain ancient history or ancient civilizations. I have wondered about that, like how advanced they were. I think we can't really fathom it, but there were certain civilizations that had technology that we can't even fathom. So yeah, I think that like, especially about ancient Egypt, I'm convinced that, electricity was widely available for a lot longer. That's the other thing about Tartarian architecture. So they look at a lot of buildings, like older ancient buildings, had a lot of these wires and like metals coming off of them in these intricate details. I'm trying to think of how to describe it, but like, if you look at older buildings, like they had these metal barbs and things coming off of them. And a lot of them have been removed, especially in the past century. And a lot of like these really incredible, beautiful architectural creations that weren't even that old were destroyed. in the past century. And obviously there's been a decline in the architecture in most of our cities. Brutalism has kind of taken over. And I do like a bit of that. Don't get me wrong. I do. I'm a fan of many different architectural styles. If a building is interesting, it may be ugly to some people, but I may find it very fascinating, because of the shape of it or whatever. It's not so much that, but there has been like a degradation, it seems, of the quality of the, of everything. I mean, this it's not just our buildings, it's life in general. Like we're just, but they don't have the technology to make things this nice. It doesn't make sense. It's like, if we made this in the past, why is it so difficult to make it in the present? Why are we making such monstrosities, like these horrific steel and glass just structures that are shaped like boxes most of the time? It's appalling. So yeah. What else was I saying? I was going to go off about like the spires, like the metal spires that would be coming off of buildings. They'd even be like on small structures as well. They were like everywhere. These have been removed from a lot of buildings. You can still see them in certain places, but like even some buildings, they've taken them, off completely or partially. And it doesn't make sense why, but the Tartarian conspiracy theorists believe that we had previously had free electricity that was available to all, that was being harvested from just the ether, the air itself. And there is electricity in the air. We know this, but it's believed that they had this technology that was widely available that was being used to basically provide electricity for our civilization, and that was destroyed and kind of like privatized and made, a commodity that you can only access in certain ways through wires. So that's another part of the conspiracy. But again, like I said, it goes off into so many different directions. It's just fascinating. Like his channel, though, Lucius Aurelian, he goes hard. He does these very in-depth explorations. And I just find it interesting to sit and listen to somebody theorize, like, well, what does this mean? What does this look like? That kind of thing. Exactly. So a lot of people believe that we had this technology and most people were already using it, but we can't have that because, if people have free access to it, can't have that. And we can't have people knowing that it's that easy to harness, So anyway, we'll see. Yeah, I want the bricks back too. Brick, stone, all of it. It's much better, It's there. I think too, like nobody cares about the quality of the beauty of what we have to live in as well, and that's kind of frustrating because humanity, we don't benefit. Our humanity does not benefit. Our sense of self-worth does not benefit if we're constantly surrounded by things that are ugly and drab. Like when you go into a building, you should be kind of inspired by it. I mean, that was how it seemed to be before I would say around the 40s and 50s. That's when the kind of architectural style started changing. Like after the Art Deco era, they stopped putting so much emphasis on making the buildings that we went into and that we operated in actually uplifting to the human spirit. Because you go into like an old building, even like an old, like for example, a coffee shop I go to is in the bottom of an old hotel that has been converted into apartments. When I go into the lobby of that building, the feeling I have in there, just looking around briefly of that one room, looking over to the elevator and to like the mailbox section, it is so drastically different than like my building. Don't get me wrong, I have a nice apartment with great amenities, but it doesn't have that charm, elevation, and beauty. And the carpet is a little bit ugly in the hallways. Let's say that. But again, no complaints. I'm very blessed. Very blessed. Too blessed. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to head out. I just wanted to give some announcements, some positive news, and give some shout outs to other channels that I thought, deserve some more viewers. Maybe somebody watching this would be interested. Oh wait, no, I was gonna go over JLP and Bond. That's right. I lie. I'm not gonna go just yet. So, let's get. Oh, my desk. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I do be having nice moments sometimes. I'm nice. Okay, so next channel I want to get into here, Jesse Lee Peterson. I met Lord Bibby here actually through the chat there. They have a great chat when the live shows are going. But anyway, Jesse Lee Peterson does this live broadcast Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the show is just amazing. It's, excuse me, I forgot I have my drink here. The show just, it's people call in. He's a conservative, so he does do a lot of commentary about different things he's feeling. But what I have come to really appreciate about him so much, and what he does, I mean, he is just incredibly good at getting to the root of what's going on with people. So he has like people call in all the time. And I actually called in last week and spoke to him as well. And I have to say, like, the advice he gave me was, I mean, it was common advice he gives other people, but like to hear it for myself and to understand how it applied to me was really helpful, honestly. Like, I needed to hear what he said to me. And I think he does that for a lot of people. And not just if you can't like catch the live shows, like I get a lot of the videos recommended to me. And so I've been watching those as well, like in the evenings as I'm getting ready for bed. Or I don't really watch them. I'll put them on and listen to them. But yeah, here we go. He's like, somebody struggling with anxiety. I had 2 children out of wedlock. I used to be a lesbian, transgender, raised by a single mother, waking up. Should I date this guy? Like 2 very different callers. There was one I watched last night where he was talking to someone that had gotten involved in the MGTOW online movement. And he was like, so why do you want to hang out with a bunch of losers? And I like, he gets, a lot of people are offended by him, but like, he really, for me, I see what he's doing. He's deliberately trying to trigger people so that he can like get them to see, and sometimes the only way to like really see the truth is to get triggered. Yeah, so that call was fascinating. He really broke down that this guy had this victim mentality and like was sabotaging his own life because he's adopted a victim mentality. And I just see that too with like the MGTOW thing. I mean, I think women as well are under a similar psyop right now. I don't know what else to call it because it is destructive to our very culture itself if men and women are at war with each other. So I think there's a script running that women get sucked into with like the feminism piece, and then there's like the men's rights piece. And you find a lot of the times when you scratch the surface, a lot of the people that get sucked into these things, they haven't even really experienced the things that they feel victimized about. So I just thought it was a fascinating call. And like, it really spoke to me about, how honest he is, not just with women, but men as well. Cause he gets all of this, a lot of kickback from women. Women are often like really offended by him, but like, if you suspend your ego and like really listen to what he's talking about, he's really trying to counsel both men and women in overcoming, the impacts of like sin in their lives and, just being born into a fallen state as humanity. It impacts women and men both in different ways. But yeah, I appreciated listening to that call because anybody, like after listening to that call, I was like, anybody who thinks this guy is a misogynist is like, or doesn't like women is just not getting it at all. Like at all. He isn't like, and in the comment section, of course, there were a lot of like men's rights activists and like MGTOW types being like, he's been single for 40 years. How dare he counsel a guy like, but like, he wasn't counseling the guy on anything other than overcoming his fallen state. And he said some really cutting, like blunt things. And he just gets to the like heart of the matter, like with anyone, male or female that calls, black or white that calls. A lot of us are really unaware of how full of it and like up our own ego, we are. So that is right, Lord Bibby. Yeah, we do. And a lot of people don't want to hear the truth. They really don't want to hear the truth because that victim narrative is so, it feels so good to hear, like you're oppressed. It feels so good to have that oppression validated, because if you're oppressed, then you're not responsible and you can act any way you want and you don't ever have to take responsibility for all of the trouble you're causing as you go about your walk in the world. Well, it's BS, isn't it? And I love that he doesn't believe in like, the other thing that I really appreciate about him is he doesn't believe in like racism, sexism, homophobia. He just completely cuts out the BS and he gets down to the real conversation of good versus evil. So like I've really appreciated that I came to find him again and started listening to him, because like he gets a lot of grief from like the Bible thumpers. I love that he does a Bible thumper Thursday as well. Like I'm a Christian too. but I hate the Bible thumpers as well, because they're like so caught up in the words that they're not getting the message. They don't even really understand the fundamental message of Christianity itself, like why it's so powerful, why it's so transformative, what the point of it is, even. So, yeah, he gets a lot of group, like in the chat all the time too. The chat, Lord Vivi was bringing up the chat, like a lot of people call him a heretic, even though he's like a pastor. This is the thing that just like drives me wild. Or he's a reverend, technically, like, yeah, but they'll be like, he doesn't even know what this, he'll be like, somebody would call in, like somebody called in recently and said, what was the word they used? They were using some kind of term, like either it was like the Trinity or deity or something. They were mentioning like the deity of Jesus, and he's like, what does that mean? And I remember like people going off in the chat like, he doesn't even know what that means. And I'm like, Jesse knows what that means. He's asking the caller if they know what it means. Duh. Like, but a lot of people, again, because they're dumb, they're thumping the damn Bibles more than actually understanding it. Like, what does it matter that you know all this stuff in the Bible if you haven't overcome your fallen state? What does that matter? Really. Right. Right. Yeah. And he goes about like thoughts aren't real, feelings aren't real, or they're lies. And I've had to, I have the enlightenment that comes from that, because it's like I already kind of knew that, but when he said it, just when I heard him say all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything, I was like, yo, that is true. I know that's true, like, because I've, the limited experience I've had, I don't want to say limited, but, I come from like a new agey kind of background. I was in a rebellion against God for years. So I was doing all the like new age spiritual practices, reading tarot cards, performing rituals, being into the occult, all of that, and like a lot of that was helpful information for sure. Like I'm glad for the education I have, but like I kind of learned from that period in my life and the meditation I did and that kind of thing, that I couldn't trust my thoughts, and that I had a period, God, how old was I? It was like 31 to like 33, 34, where I was just like, I fell in love, y'all. Probably for the first and only time in my life did I like really fall in love, like hard. And things didn't work out, and I was devastated, like. And what happened to me, like my mind went out of control, and it began torturing me. It began like just attacking me. I couldn't sleep at night. I'd have these like just feelings and thoughts, and, I would be in such emotional devastation. I would cry and cry. It took me years to get like over this, right? And one thing I kind of like, as I came out of it took time. It took a lot of time for me. But as I came out of it and kind of like woke up, I saw like how I had to learn through that process that I could not trust my mind, because my mind kept bringing up things to hurt me, to like make me relive the anguish so that I could like feel again, and that was some sort of like rush I would get from the feeling of being, emotionally devastated and impacted by this like great loss. Hey, Amy, welcome to the chat. Nice to see you. But yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, no regrets because you know what? That taught me what love was. Before that, I was like a child. That taught me like that experience like really transformed me and set me on the path I'm on now. Like, we never got together. We were never a couple. Like, it was a very strange experience that happened in my life. And, I think part of the reason we didn't was because there was like this immense love there. And like, when that happens, you kind of have to like, when you really love someone, like really love them, you do what's right for them, not what's right for you. You know what I mean? You really you will let them go because you'll let them be free because it's what's best for them. But it's still hard to deal with. But anyway, that taught me a lot about love and how love is not a selfish thing. It is not self-serving, it is not selfish. But anyway, yeah, it is really hard. And let me tell you, I was feeling hard for a very long time, like, and not acting well. Because that was the point when I like would say I like really probably even though I'd been like crazy before, that I became a whole new level of crazy after that like experience, just because the devil was torturing me in my mind. At night I'd lay down my head, in the morning I'd be waking up and I'd get those like jabs, that like intense like, and I'd have like all of these like fantasies, and I don't mean like fantasies, but like, I'd fantasize about like, running into this person again, or like, having a conversation with them, or like seeing, I did run into them, actually, but I'd have this like, my mind would be working overtime, producing things that weren't real to upset me. All right. Like, none of this stuff had happened in reality. It happened in my mind. And then I'd be like in tears, sobbing, can't fall asleep, like sobbing for like an hour, with this like intense grief over something that hadn't even really happened. So like, after I came out of that, and I kind of recognized that it was something I was allowing to happen to myself. And that took time as well to like come out of it and realize that I was letting my thoughts dictate how I felt, and, allow me to continue to feel bad about something that I had no control over anyway, because it was, again, in the past, which is not real. So I already had like this framework for understanding this process. But yeah, like when I heard Jesse go on about like the all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything, like it clicked for me. It was like, yo, we already know this. You have to doubt every thought that comes to you. Like, and I give this advice to other people, and a lot of the time they don't want to hear it because, again, they identify with their thoughts and feelings. And I just like, it is the most liberating thing when you don't. And I even catch myself now, like last night I was talking to someone, and I said, I was talking about like the pain that I experience. And I said, my pain. And then I caught myself and I was like, excuse me, the pain. Because we are programmed to own feelings. You know, we want to own it. We want to call it ours, but it isn't us. It isn't us. I am not the pain I experience. I am not the pleasure I experience. I'm not the thought I experience. I'm not the feeling I experience. You know, I'm none of those things. I am a whole different being. Yep. Yep. Like I said, he is wise beyond, like, he's got wisdom there. And like, maybe the people watching my channel may not like his politics, but he's got wisdom in them as well. Like, too, he's very consistent about what he believes and why he believes it. So I respect him for that. And I respect him. I also think, like, too, man, just Black conservatives get so much crap, you know, like they really do. It's unreal. Like, if you're a Black person and you dare to like have an opinion that like most white people have, like for real, like, you know, maybe not in certain pockets, but like if you dare to have an opinion that like, oh, you know, maybe being a criminal is a character issue, not, you know, a victim of society issue. Okay. Like if you dare to have a thought like that, you know, oh boy, they really come for you. But yeah, I like that he kind of gets down to, yeah, I think that too. Like the powers that be in our culture want us to be in very simplified identities as well. Like if your identity is not simple, if you dare to be a complex human being, you know, that thinks for yourself, hey baby, then you're gonna catch hell, you know. You can't be thinking for yourself. Hey baby, you gonna get on cam? Yeah. So yeah, I was sharing the channel of Jesse Lee Peterson here. I'll just present it again for a moment to. So yeah, I was talking about this channel here, Jesse Lee Peterson, and actually we'll pick up another one of his channels. So The Fallen State is another really great program that he does. And this was the one that I was invited on, I think in 2017, 2018. No, it must have been 2017, which I declined. That was my first introduction to him. And, you know, it's so funny because, like, I remember watching one of his interviews because I was like, who is this guy, you know, that invited me on? Or, well, he didn't invite me directly. His producer did. But, like, I was watching an interview he did, and I, like, had this immediate intuition. I was like, this guy is going to get me. Anyway, The Fallen State is very interesting. It's a great title. You know, it goes into, it's obviously about the fall of mankind, but it's also just interesting. He has very, you know, interesting people on, and he asks them good questions about their lives, and you get a lot of insight from it. But yeah, I had this intuition. I was like, this guy's going to get me. He's gonna see right through me. You know, I had that kind of, you know, like feeling in my gut, like this guy's going to be able to see right through me and all of my BS. Because let me tell you, I had a lot of BS at the time. Like when I think about it now, and again, that's the other thing, like we call it us, you know, we look at the past and we feel, especially I think as like Christians too, like you can sometimes look at your past and you can feel like, oh, I can't believe I was, you know, I was so sinful. I was a bad person. I did all these things, you know, you can feel guilty about it, but like, it's helpful to remember that that wasn't you. You know, that was the spirit that made a home in you and, was guiding your actions. We as human beings are guided by spirit, and we can either be guided by, the spirit of love or the spirit of anger. Okay. And the spirit of love is God. So if we're not, in that, if we're not walking in that, if we're not letting the spirit of love and of God dwell in us, then our actions will be terrible. We will be sowing bad fruit into the world. We'll be doing things that we ought not, but we have to remember, that wasn't us. That was not us. That was not who we were made to be. That was not who God created us to be. We were created to, bear his image and walk in his light. So, I've really appreciated, finding him again with new eyes, and like uncovering this stuff, and how he kind of really gets to the heart of what, like I said, the Christian faith really is about, which is, that forgiveness and that walking in that truth. But a lot of people don't know how to forgive themselves. That? Like, a lot of people do not know how to forgive themselves. They own that badness. They think, I was such a bad person, like not ever recognizing that they were being manipulated by forces because they were under spiritual warfare, And I think too, people like really shy away from talking about spiritual warfare, and like the fact that all of these things we're facing in the real world are spiritual issues. There's a fight between good and evil. And we are the vessels that good and evil can come into. And we really have to be mindful about what we're allowing to come into us. I know, you're such a good boy. You're such a good boy. There's no kitty like you. Who's a kitty like you? There's no kitty like you. You broke the mold, didn't you? You want some wet food, don't you? So at lunchtime, I was making the chicken noodle soup, on my lunch break. And this little dude got some chicken. He didn't get his can of wet food. He got some pieces of chicken, and he loved that chicken. He ate it up real good. He was into it. But you know what? I think he thought that was just a treat, and that he wants a real can of wet food now. He wants some real pate. Yeah. Well, you're going to get some real pate in a minute, baby. I'm almost done. I know. Oh, no. You're such a good boy. But yeah, he loved that chicken, I have to say. I really should do that more often, just as a side note. I really should I think when I do my groceries, make sure that I always have like some like pulled rotisserie chicken available, because it's a good treat for him. And I like giving him actual meat, It feels good to give your cat like real meat and not just like some pureed pate thing. It feels nice to have him eating some actual real meat pieces. And, for myself as well, it's good to have. It's a good source of lean protein, but, I think for both of us, it'll be good. That's right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it is done. He has been defeated. We just have to, to know it. Oh, nice. I am fasting for now. Yes, I have eaten for today. I ate well. I'm thinking about maybe doing like a vlog soon, because I haven't really done any recordings like that in a while. I think I'd like to get back into it, but I thought it might be nice to do like just a video talking about how I eat and like showing kind of my eating practices. I mean, I don't want to be one of those people that's stuffing their face on camera. I hate those like TikTok videos where you have like the people just shoving food in their mouth and like making the like, "ooh, so good" face, you know, like it's kind of nauseating. But I thought it would be nice because like I think when people see how you eat as well, it's helpful to when people see like, you know, okay, this person broke their fast with this. Like today I broke my fast with some blueberries and pineapple. So that was like my breakfast. And it was just a small amount. I didn't eat a lot of it, but just, you know, waking up the gut. And coffee. I guess technically the first thing I have in the day is coffee. Coffee with some cream. Then I had the fruit, you know, a couple hours later. Then I had another cup of coffee. And then I had, well, I made the soup that I was telling you all about, the chicken noodle soup. And then I had a piece of Gouda cheese, like a slice of Gouda cheese, you know, and I had a little cup of applesauce, like, you know, those applesauce cups they sell at the store. I got a few of them recently, so, or like a pack of them. So I had one of those. Yeah, I really hate that. Like the mukbangs where they've got like the whole like spread and they're just, you can hear them slurping and eating. It's disgusting to me. I really don't like it. If somebody is sitting across from you eating that way, you're going to be upset. So like, why are they doing it on camera? And like, but people love these things. They watch it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to look at videos of food. Like on Instagram, one of the things I like, you know, is to, you know, look at different foods either being prepared or like what have you. Like those like little quick short form videos where they'll have like, oh, check out this pasta dish or check out this sandwich or this burrito, these tacos, this pizza, you know, and then they like show it to you done and it looks really satisfying. I mean, I love food. I'm a big foodie. Again, one of the reasons why I took up this type of fasting was so that I could continue to eat the foods that I love, you know, without having to, you know, restrict anything. Because it's like, if I can't have cheesecake, well, that's not okay. Like, I don't want to live in a world where I can't have cheesecake. So anyway, I think I've gone on enough, but you get my point. Like, I don't like the videos of people eating or just like, I do watch a lot of those. I think her name is Carissa Reacts videos. Those come up on YouTube for me a lot. And she's like, what I ate in a day at da 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 da, like what I ate in a day at, you know, or what I ate at McDonald's in Italy, what I ate at KFC in Singapore, like what I got at Raising Cane's. Like, I've never been to Raising Cane's. There's one downtown and it's like, the line is so ridiculous. I never want to eat there. Like, it can't be that good. It really can't be that good. It's just like fried chicken and French fries. Like, come on, people. But they're insane about it. Like, the line is just ridiculous. Yes, I do. Yeah, I like those ones too. And she sometimes like will go on someone. I saw one she did in Portland. She was in Portland, Oregon, and she went to like a bunch of different carts and got food. I can't wait for it to warm up so that I can kind of go out further and longer and kind of go get some good cart food because I miss it, you know. I love the food carts. I love them, love them, love them. And there's like I don't know, I just miss some of them that are kind of further away. But yeah, she got some really good food. I know she got, I don't know, she went to like Cartlandia and then the Hawthorne Asylum, which Cartlandia is like an old one. That was like when they were first kind of building them and booming them up. It used to be kind of a downtown thing, and they started spreading across town. But yeah, a lot, they're not what they used to be. You know, there's been a lot of we've lost quite a few of them as well, like the cart pods, but they're really, I mean, they're just such a great business, a way to get started in business. And they really, you know, are an economical way to, you know, get food as well. Because when I was a lot younger, you know, I remember like I would just, you know, I would stop by the carts on like a Friday when I was going home. I'd get a couple of meals and then I'd have like food for the weekend, and it usually wasn't very expensive. And it still isn't. Like you can still get a pretty economical deal and get like some really good, really authentic food sometimes. I mean, like the Thai restaurants that they have out of the carts are incredible, and as well as like the taco carts and burrito carts. Like there's nothing that compares to those burritos. I mean, maybe if you go into a certain restaurant, you know, and you sit down and you get like a wet burrito smothered with like a plate of everything. Yeah, that can be good. Oh, that would be good, actually. I could go for one of those. It's winter, you know. I could put away one of those big wet burritos with like the beans and rice on the side, and I could see myself eating that at some point. But anyway, I thank you all for being here. I was gonna go like 40 minutes ago. My goodness, how time flies. But I appreciate you all watching with me today. I am working on something soon for y'all, so look forward to that. And I guess, you know, keep it strange until I'm return again. All right, have a good night. Bye, y'all.